Welcome to Your Billion-Year Family Tree, a slideshow about evolution. I'm Allison, and I'm here to introduce you to some of your ancestors who lived millions and even billions of years ago. To begin with, we're going to talk about the family tree from the point of view of evolution. Then we'll learn about DNA and genetics. After that, we'll see how scientists are using genetic data to put together a new vision of how all life is part of one big extended family. Along the way, we're going to meet a cast of characters who represent some of our ancient ancestors. Taken together, these characters form a timeline of evolution. The timeline starts with LUCA, an ancient microbe. LUCA's name is shorthand for Last Universal Common Ancestor. We'll learn more about what the name means later on. In future slideshows, we'll meet the rest of the creatures, including a character called Lucy, an early human who lived millions of years ago. Usually, when people talk about human evolution, they focus in on the part of the story that's about apes in the Stone Age. We're going to zoom out and get a bigger picture of the family tree. All of the creatures we're learning about connect back to you because you are part of this timeline and part of the family of life. Let's get started by looking at the family tree. What comes to mind when you hear the term family tree? You might be wondering, who were my great-grandparents? Or what part of the world did my ancestors come from? Am I secretly part of the royal family? It's no coincidence that talk of the family tree triggers thoughts of royalty. For most of history, only very rich, powerful families had family trees. These traditional types of family trees are made to rank people and show who is most important. With the billion-year family tree, we are going to discover a family that encompasses the entire globe and stretches back to the very earliest days of life. In this next section, we're going to look at several examples of how the family tree is used to study evolution. To start with, here's a very simple version of the animal family tree. The chipmunk up here represents all mammals. We are mammals, humans are mammals, so this is also our family tree. Down here at the root of the tree is LUCA, the ancient microbe. After LUCA, we find a bunch of sea creatures and then some worms. What the tree is showing us is that chipmunks are related to both worms and sea creatures. Up here, the tree illustrates how chipmunks are also related to snails and insects and starfish. Here's another version of the same type of evolutionary family tree. On this tree, animals are represented by a butterfly, a human, and a fish. All of the trees we're looking at today start with LUCA. This is the branch that shows how humans and LUCA are connected to each other and part of the same tree of life. Like a real tree, the family tree gets bigger over time. Each of these branches represents an entire species. The mouse you see here isn't an individual mouse, it represents all mice. The tree of life grows more and more branches over time. When a group of animals, like the dinosaurs, goes extinct, those individual branches stop growing. Here's an example of a more complex tree of life. Even though it's an unusual shape, this is still considered a tree diagram. This idea of an extended tree of life is part of what's going on in mainstream evolutionary science right now. Here we see the same basic story where life starts with the first microbes and then over time many more different types of creatures evolve, including humans. Each of these different trees offers a unique way of visualizing the story of life. What they all have in common is they all start with LUCA. When we study humans, we focus on our particular branch of the family tree, the branch that connects humans to LUCA. If we were studying snails, we'd be looking at a different branch of the tree. Each different branch leads down to the base of the tree and is connected to LUCA. All of the creatures on this timeline are part of the human branch of the family tree. This branch is also called the human line of descent. So the branch is descending, it's going down to the base of the tree, back in time to LUCA. A branch and a timeline are two different ways of looking at the same sequence of events. The characters in this timeline are all part of the human line of descent. Our family history starts with LUCA. Over time, many new types of species evolved, including humans. Evolution is the story of how we're all part of a very big, very vibrant family of life.